If you want to help out and support the channel, there are a few things you can do. Go check out Flipside Gaming and use the promo code VOIDMAGE in all caps. This will get you 10% off all orders $10 or more. And if you go shopping on tcgplayer.com, go use my affiliate link in the description below. That way all purchases you make will go towards helping the channel. And lastly, go check out my Patreon. It's a more direct way that you can help the channel while also getting some more interaction. I appreciate all of your support. If you haven't already, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Hello everyone, welcome back to another Commander deck tag video, this time for Patron Adigio. He wanted me to do a deck for Yawgmoth, Thran Physician. Didn't want me to use any infinite combos though. Now for the deck, I can't promise that there won't be any infinite interactions. That's just how complex the commander is. I will be able to say that that's not the direction I went with. My intention is to not go infinite with this deck. It is basically going to be Proliferate. I had done a Yawgmoth deck before where the focus was more on combos. And while you could most certainly have some kind of combo, it won't go infinite, or at least it won't be easy to. I just wanted to go with a Proliferate theme because there are so many things that you can proliferate. You have -1/-1 counters, you have +1/+1 counters, you of course have poison counters, and you have loyalty counters. And there are different kinds of counters, things that you can use to your advantage. Just going over Yawgmoth real quick, he's 4 mana for a 2/4 legendary human cleric with protection from humans, which does come into play a lot more often than you'd think. You could pay 1 life and sacrifice another creature, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature and draw a card. So that's a very good engine. But the part we want to focus on here is 2 black, discard a card to proliferate, which in a mono black deck should be a pretty easy way to get multiple poison counters on our opponents, build that count up, and then hopefully kill them that way. Or we could just profit off of a good engine. We still want to be able to bring back creatures, sacrifice them, just like you would in the combo Yawgmoth builds. He is still a very good sack outlet, and you would be missing a lot by not including those cards. So let's start it off here with some of the lands. It's good old mono black, so you want to get as much mana as possible. Go with the Cabal Coffers and Urborg combo. It should allow you to tap for a bunch of mana. This is going to be more of a Proliferate deck, so Karn's Bastion should fit right in. If it's not the easiest thing in the world to use Yawgmoth's ability, 4 mana and tapping it, so pretty much 5, you get a way to proliferate. We also want to give our opponents some more poison counters, so Inkmoth Nexus is a very good land to have if you need that extra bit of creature presence, and since you can proliferate any kind of counters, Blast Zone should come in handy. You don't have to use its ability to put more charge counters on it, you can just do that whenever you feel like it with Yawgmoth. Now for mana ramp, it is going to be a bit more unique for the deck. We are in mono black, so we do have access to Crypt Ghast and Caged Sun if we want to double our mana. But since we're going to be sacrificing a bunch of creatures, why not also play Pawn of Ulamog and Sifter of Skulls? That way we can replenish our creature count while also getting a way to add more mana to our mana pool. But adding to our mana ramp, we also have, in addition to Soul Ring, Everflowing Chalice and Astral Cornucopia. These 2 cards are fantastic with Yawgmoth because it's a Proliferate deck. We can add those charge counters, and by adding those charge counters, we can get even more mana the following turns. Now, since Yawgmoth does have a pretty good ability to sacrifice creatures, you don't have to pay any mana, you just pay a life to do that. You're going to want to do that a bunch, and you're going to need some creatures in order to use this ability, really taking advantage of it. Creatures like Butcher Ghoul are really nice because they have Undying, which means that if they die, they just come back with a +1/+1 counter. Now, there are combos associated with Butcher Ghoul because you could just add a -1/-1 counter to a Butcher Ghoul, have another creature to sacrifice as well, giving you pretty much as many cards as you want. We're not going to focus on it that much. It won't go infinite for us, or at least that's not the goal. Just a very good creature that we should be able to sacrifice multiple times. The same thing is true for Nether Trader, Reassembling Skeleton, and Geralf's Messenger, creatures that can come back multiple times. And it's not just with this, but we also want to replenish our creature count. Pawn of Ulamog and Sifter of Skulls are pretty cool, but there's also Ophiomancer, giving you a snake if you lost it at the beginning of each upkeep. This card in particular is really disgusting with Yawgmoth because every turn, including your opponent's, you can just keep using the ability, you'll get a snake back. and you're not really losing your total creature count since you can't really have more than one black snake. Endrick Sarmaster Breeder is a perfect black creature for any kind of deck where you're sacrificing a bunch. You are incentivized to keep it under 7 because if you control 7 or more thralls, you then have to sacrifice them. And that's all we really want to do in this deck is sacrifice token fodder. Ogre Slumlord kind of gives us more of the same, but rewards us for killing our opponent's creatures as well. Whenever another non-token creature dies, we get a 1/1 black rat creature token. We have a couple couple of enchantments that are going to help us out with our creature count. We have Bitter Blossom and Dreadhorde Invasion. These two are very similar because they're just 2 mana black enchantments that are going to keep giving us 1 more power. Now, Bitter Blossom does give us the better token, 1/1 flying tokens, but Dreadhorde Invasion will keep giving us a +1/+1 counter on that zombie army token. You can make the argument that since you can proliferate the army token, keep making it bigger, that token is actually better, but you do need the numbers in this deck. And a perfect card for any deck that fools around with -1/-1 counters is Nest of Scarabs. Whenever you put 1 or more -1/-1 counters on a creature, create that many 1/1 black insect creature tokens. This is actually a very good combo. Not an infinite because you still do have to pay life, but it should be pretty easy to get rid of creatures you really don't want to have out there. Now going on to Infect, we do have some pretty good creatures. Infect is usually something I recommend staying away from, but since it is more of a sub-theme in the deck, we can get away with it. It's not our only ways of winning the game. Plague Mirror is just a mana dork that happens to have Infect. Plague Stinger, though, is a flying creature, so it has evasion. It can get in pretty easily. Eco Rats is an all-star in the deck because each player gets a poison counter, and you can proliferate the ones that are on your opponents. Since the whole deck is about proliferate, that shouldn't be too hard. Phyrexian Crusader is just a solid all-around creature with great keywords, protection from 2 different colors, making it very easy to swing in uncontested on certain players. Corp Prowler has Infect, but when it dies, you proliferate. Flesh Eater Imp is a good sack outlet if you really need another one other than Yawgmoth. Other than that, we have another flying creature with Infect. In Hand of the Praetors will give all of your other Infect creatures +1/+1, and whenever you cast a creature spell with Infect, target player gets a poison counter. Skithiryx the Blight Dragon is absolutely devastating. If you've already established poison counters, once you get Skithiryx out there, it should be pretty easy to start killing players. A built-in way to give it haste, you can regenerate it pretty easily. One of the more hated cards in Commander. Other than that, we have a couple ways of giving creatures that don't normally have Infect. Tainted Strike and Phyresis. I like Tainted Strike a little bit better because it can come out of nowhere, but both being very good ways of ending games. Now after that, we just have generic -1/-1 interactions. These I think are going to be the bulk of the deck. You're going to want to lean on these more than anything else because it provides you with efficient ways of removing your opponent's creatures, and it's going to be mostly what you proliferate with Yawgmoth. Ruthless Sniper rewards us for discarding cards with Yawgmoth's second ability. We can pay 1 mana and put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. Necro Skitter, whenever a creature an opponent controls with a -1/-1 counter on it dies, you return that card to the battlefield under your control. Archfiend of Ifnir is probably one of the best cards in the whole deck. Whenever you cycle or discard another card, put a -1/-1 counter on each creature your opponents control. Since we'll probably be discarding a lot with Yawgmoth, not only will we be able to proliferate, but we'll also be putting those counters on our opponent's creatures, all of them, so we can easily kill them with Archfiend of Ifnir. Carnifex Demon is just downright rude. Enters the battlefield with 2 -1/-1 counters on it, but we can pay a black to remove a -1/-1 counter from it to put one on each other creature. Again, in a proliferate deck, putting those -1/-1 counters on our opponent's creatures, it's going to make them hard to establish a board presence. Midnight Banshee is an all-star. At the beginning of our upkeep, we put a -1/-1 counter on each non-black creature, which shouldn't really be any of our creatures because, well, we're playing mono black, making it more one-sided than Carnifex Demon, so really nasty. And giving us some more of those counter interactions, we have Contagion Clasp and Contagion Engine. Not only will these give us more of those -1/-1 counters, but we can proliferate multiple times with them. Having that on an activated ability is just rude. We don't even need Yawgmoth, and we can keep our opponents in check. Crumbling Ashes will reward us for our hard work. At the beginning of our upkeep, we destroy a creature with one of those -1/-1 counters. And then we have Blowfly Infestation. Even more ways of spreading these -1/-1 counters. If a creature with a -1/-1 counter on it dies, we get to put another one on another target creature. Now we do have some removal that's going to, at the very least, put these counters on our opponent's creatures, which is all we really want. We don't need to kill them right away. We just need those counters on them in the first place, and then we can do that later in the game. Grim Affliction is just a really good way to proliferate. It's not something I would consider removal, but we do get the benefit of putting a -1/-1 counter on a creature first. It just adds up with all the other things we're doing with Infect. We have the Insane Black Sun Zenith. We could put X -1/-1 counters on each creature, making it the ultimate board wipe for this strategy. Incremental Blight is a way that we can spread -1/-1 counters, distribute them in that order on different creatures. We should be able to add even more after the fact. Spread the Sickness will straight up destroy a creature and then proliferate, so it's pretty straightforward removal, really in the deck so that we get to proliferate. And the last interaction in the deck is with the card Liliana's Influence. We get to put a -1/-1 counter on each creature we don't control. Then we get to search our library and our graveyard for a card named Liliana Death Wielder. We reveal it, put it into our hand, and if we searched our library this way, we shuffle it. Very good ways to get those counters out there, but it's really to get Liliana Death Wielder. She is just a very good planeswalker and perfect for this strategy because we get a -1/-1 counter on her +2. We get to destroy a creature with one of them with her -3, and we get to return all creature cards from our graveyard to the battlefield using her ult. So all around very strong abilities. In a deck where we're already taking advantage of counters, it really helps that we have a planeswalker that is going to synergize with them with her plus and her minus. But anyway guys, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you think about Yawgmoth Thran Physician. Let me know what you think about the Proliferate mechanic. Thanks again, Adigio, for being a patron. I very much enjoyed making this deck. You all have a wonderful day. Void here signing off. See you all next video. Just wanted to say thanks to the patrons who are supporting me on patreon.com. Go check it out. There are different tiers with their own rewards. One of them is having your name in the credits of my videos. I know it's not much, but it's something that I can do to show my appreciation. Thanks again, and have a good day.